Well, a number of aspiring leaders of the free world have been making the trek to the Granite State over the last few months. The important business of government here in New Hampshire is in a crucial period at the State House. Joining us this morning to discuss is Governor Chris Sununu. Governor, thanks for joining us.
Anytime, thank you.
So, divided government in Concord and in Washington. Let's start with one of the big headline items right now, this fight over the shipyard. The president is proposing taking some DOD funds to spend on building a southern border wall, about $200 million of construction funds from the shipyard. The concern is that money will never come back. What are your thoughts?
It's a real concern, to be sure. So, you know, my office has been on the phone with the White House a couple of times over the past few weeks, advocating, trying to take action. We know it's a federal issue, it's a federal funding issue, but everyone really has to step up and act. On issues like this, it's not about press conferences, it's not about protests and all that. You got to act, and that's kind of my plea to the federal delegation, is to get on the phone, interact, work with this administration, make the case, and let's try to save these funds.
So the commander-in-chief wants to move money out of the DOD that's already been appropriated. What should the delegation do if that money's already there?
Well, let's understand that the delegation took a vote against the border wall, knowing that these funds very well were going to be at risk. So the power of the purse in Washington lies with Congress. It lies with the Senate. It lies with Congress, as it should. And so they have the power to find a solution to this. So unfortunately, look, whether you agree with the border wall or not, they took the action knowing that this was very likely going to be a result. And so we're looking for the delegation to step up, take some action, be an active voice, not worry about letters and press conferences and all that. Washington doesn't hear about press conferences up here, but they will hear your phone call. They will hear you knocking on the door of the White House or the administration and saying, hey, this is why these funds need to stay, this is why these jobs are important, and this is why it's important to help secure the security of our nation, because that's exactly what the shipyard's doing.
To be clear, what is the higher priority in your opinion, the shipyard or the wall?
Both. There's no reason you can't do both. We very well, if they had voted for that bill with the wall, the funds would be there today for the shipyard. The funds were there. They were appropriated on both sides.
$8 billion to $20 billion for the wall, that's money well spent.
Absolutely. They all, when that bill came forward, if they had just voted for the border security of the wall, the funds would have been in place for the shipyard. That's a fact. Like, they knew voting against the wall was going to put these funds at risk. Now, we worked with the administration early on. We made sure that no other projects within the borders of New Hampshire got affected, not our National Guard, not our military reserve. We worked hard, my office did, worked hard to protect those assets within the borders of New Hampshire. We worked hard on the shipyard. That's one that they tried to pull out. We're going to keep fighting for it and keep making sure they know that how important that is to the people in New Hampshire.
For a long time, the stated goal of Republicans has been to repeal Obamacare. The White House is again moving forward on that front, but in front of the Executive Council this last week, you had some words that raised some eyebrows, at least among Republicans. You said if they did repeal Obamacare, it would be an upheaval of our entire system. We don't want it to happen. First of all, explain what you were talking about there, and then will you be voicing those concerns to the administration?
A full repeal of Obamacare would have drastic effects on the state right now. There's so much of our state and our system that relies on that. When you look at the dollars that the ACA has brought in to help everything from the opioid crisis, we have a system that now does have expanded Medicaid, so there's a lot of folks that rely on those dollars. 50,000 people do rely on those dollars for their expanded Medicaid. So to repeal that would be a massive upheaval of our entire system. Should there be if they want to talk about repeal and replace or adjusting the system, absolutely. It has to become more efficient, and it has to become more state-centric. One thing that we talked very much with the administration last year was pushing forward a bill that basically gives us a block grant, right? So that we can design a system, use those funds exactly as we need to see fit. Now, ultimately, we couldn't support that bill either because it really shortchanged New Hampshire. It gave a lot of states other preferential treatment. So we're going to fight to make sure that anything that comes forward is keeping New Hampshire's interest and system in mind. There's probably a better way to do it. There's no doubt about that. But a complete upheaval of the ACA is probably not the smartest thing and the best thing for our citizens.
You mentioned the opioid crisis. Pretty stunning report from the Office of the Child Advocate last week about infants who were diagnosed as born exposed to drugs when they were born, passing away after having DCYF contact. DCYF reform has obviously been a priority for you. I think there were two in 2018 who were not infants anymore, but they were, I think, toddlers, but still died. There had been DCYF cases that were opened and deemed unfounded. Again, it's been a priority for you to reform, but is this going far enough, fast enough?
Look, we're moving forward. We brought the Child Advocate in, remember, to make sure that we could identify these issues, that they didn't just get brushed away and under the rug. We're putting funding into DCYF at unprecedented levels. We're funding more staff, more front frontline workers, not just administration, but real frontline workers. We're putting those preventative programs in so we can work with families on a preventative basis, finally. Remember, for years the state had become a state of reaction. We were kind of waiting for the crisis to happen and then would throw some dollars at it. That's a terrible system. we're completely rebuilding that system to be more preventative with more dollars exactly where they need to go. And is it going to be solved tomorrow? No, it's not, unfortunately. But you know, everything from when you see morale coming back with our frontline workers, our ability to bring in some really skilled folks, breaking down regulatory barriers for families, and being preventative, all of these things are moving us in the right direction. Continuing on that opioid front, dealing with the situation as a border issue with Massachusetts, do you still see these drugs coming out of Lawrence? Of course. Look, they're coming out of. They are founded and grounded in Mexico. 85% come over that Mexican border. Right? A lot of them make their way up through New England, through Massachusetts, up into Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont. That is not a disparaging remark on Massachusetts. That's just how they physically get here, right? So what we need to do is make sure that we're providing the enforcement actions both within the state and working with our partners across the border, which we do incredibly well now. I mean, the model that we've set up for enforcement in this state, specifically on opioids, it is a gold standard. It is a model that other states are trying to replicate. We have some of our officers going across the country sharing that model across the country because it is working so well. And it's with local, state, federal, DEA, the HIDTA program. I mean, we have folks in New Hampshire law enforcement, state and local, making busts in Massachusetts, working side by side in a partnership. Do you think they have the resources they need, though? I mean, we've seen so much come in on the treatment side. Do we need to see a boost on enforcement? I think right now we're in a pretty good place. I mean, we put a lot of resources in the last budget. We got what we call our MET teams. Those are the state troopers that are on the roads. We have Granite Shield. We have Granite Hammer. A lot of resources going to the local level. So local police departments have the resources to do the investigations, and most importantly, share that information up the chain so everyone is working in conjunction. So there's definitely a lot of work to do. Would more resources help? Yeah, it would, but there's no doubt we've made huge strides here, and we're making a lot of these busts. Let's shift back to the state budget here. The House Finance Committee recently voted to take your twin state paid leave plan out of the state budget. They replaced it with their own version of paid leave. Does this basically put on the table the idea that you're going to have to veto the state budget? Well, let's be clear. They put on the table an income tax. That's what they're doing. SB 1 is an income tax. It's the top priority of Democrat leadership, and I can't think of anything worse for the state. We were asked to find a compromise to get paid family leave done, which I very much support, as you know. And we did. We found a way to do paid family leave without an income tax, allows flexibility, allows a plan that covers all of the state employees, and allows anyone else to come into the system if they want. The Democrats went in the more extreme direction. They said, we're going to mandate it on everyone. They call it a premium on wages. That's an income tax, just like the capital gains is an income tax. The New Hampshire advantage is not an accident. The New Hampshire advantage is how we stay different and above the fray, so to say, of all the other states. All the other states are trying to copy our model of economic success. Why would we ever impose more taxes, more regulations, like they're trying to do in the State House right now, to become like everybody else? Unfortunately, the Democrats were given leadership for the first time in a long time in this state. And all they've done is gone to Washington, seen what Washington does with taxes, regulation, big government, control. And they say, we're just going to do that here. Heck no. I got a lot of veto pens. I am not afraid to use them. And it's not about me. It's not about party, because I have conservative and more traditional Democrats coming up to me every day and saying, please do not let this income tax hit us. It'll devastate our economy. It'll make us like everyone else. We have the lowest poverty rate in the country, the lowest unemployment, some of the highest wages. This isn't an accident. We've created a system that really works. I will not let the state go down the opposite path. Is there a possibility for a compromise of some kind between the twin state income tax, I'll tell you that. Well, between SB 1 and the twin state plan? Is there any common ground there? Okay, so let's understand. We've compromised. We've created a plan. Like, we found the compromise, and they said, oh, that's a pretty good idea, but it's not our idea, so we're not going to go for it. And they went in the opposite direction. So I don't know how else to compromise other than give paid family leave to everyone who wants it without an income tax. That's a really good compromise. Let's stay on the state budget here. The Democrats have also accused you of, quote unquote, pork barrel spending with your one-time projects that you wanted to fund out of the surplus money.
they're taking all of these out of the budget, pretty much, that you proposed. Do you think you should have worked harder maybe to win some support for those projects specifically with reps, or is this just something where it's turned into another...
I specifically went to reps and asked them what they needed, right? We went all across the state, Democrat and Republican representatives and senators, and said, what are some of the needs in your community? What are the biggest needs out there? Because we have this one-time spending. If you do what the Democrats are doing and take the one-time spending and spend it on long-term obligations, we're going to create a massive financial problem down the road. I'm not thinking to the next election. I'm not thinking till tomorrow. I'm thinking 5 and 10 and 20 years down the road. So when you have one-time spending, you spend it on infrastructure. $65 million to school infrastructure. $24 million to double the number of nurses in this state. We're going to give it to the university so they can double their programs. An early childhood education center, Special Olympics, all of these programs that come into play, they're pulling it all out of the budget. And that's why you have Democrats, Republicans, Independents, everyone standing up and saying, what are you doing? Why would you do this? Why would you take our projects away? You know, we showed that map last week. We had folks come out in droves last week, you know, supporting their projects. Some are for economic development reasons. Some are to offset property taxes. Some are to help schools and education. Some for roads. Some for dams. Some for the DD community. There's a little bit of everything for everyone. So that's not pork barrel spending. That's going out to folks and asking what the needs were. They came back. We found a way to do it. When you have an opportunity to finally create the secure psychiatric unit, a project that has been wished for by the state for 20 years and is the first domino that we can make fall to help the mental health issue in the state. Because once you create that, 60 beds for the secure psychiatric unit, you help clear out the emergency rooms, you help provide opportunities to families that didn't have it before, you take care of the issues in our prisons, you take care of making sure kids get in their adolescent and child mental health treatment in a better place. All of these are really great things and great opportunities. Why the Democrats are about to pull all of this out, it's baffling. It's absolutely baffling. And I encourage everyone to get on the phone, call them.